Morning you. This is a response to a video by Too Many Minds called Zenful Masturbation. And I'm sorry I haven't brushed my hair yet this morning and I look a bit crap. But it's not important, is it? Doesn't matter. Okay, a couple of things on this. You're talking about art really, and you're identifying yourself as an artist by sensibility, by training, by the judgment of your actions, those kind of things. And then you're talking about the function of an artist being partly to entertain, partly to construct meaning and purpose, or the illusion of it, or something like it, to entertain us before the curtain comes down for the last time. And then you end by saying fuck love. Yeah, I mean a few things on that. I mean, firstly, I'll just dispense with this idea about art for first off, not from just in terms of my relationship to that. I mean, I think everybody that does anything on YouTube is an artist personally. I don't think I've never found it a very helpful way of dividing people up into any useful categories really. But in terms of what you're talking about, people who self-identify their activity as something like art, and certainly people who do it professionally, but because they've been trained or because their work has achieved some kind of popularity, I'm assuming you're talking about that set of folk, and that's fine. But I don't think I don't think it's the role of those folk, and I don't think they would. I think many of them would agree with me. It's not their role to entertain, is it? And at least a significant number of them, or to to give meaning and purpose. I know you know this. A significant strand of the history of professional arts practice, public art in the public realm, that is absolutely about the destruction of that, about the absurdity of that, about the purposelessness of creation, in which one makes art not to reinforce the meaning and purpose of life, but to reveal the meaninglessness and the purposelessness of life. And I guess the things I'm thinking of right now are the absurdist poets and playwrights of the middle of the 20th century, which was a particular fondness of mine. People like Beckett or Ionesco or just a bunch of them really. But people writing about just that, writing in a way which strips away any kind of pretension or any kind of mask of civilization or any kind of mask of purpose and meaning that the world may hold, and reveals it as a kind of void, which I find thrilling and philosophically interesting as well as aesthetically satisfying. And you also mentioned beauty, and I understand what you're saying about beauty, and I think beauty is a lot of the history of arts practice, of course, has been about beauty. But even the idea of beauty is no longer what it was. I'll probably make a separate video about this actually. And whilst a lot of people do confuse arts practice with beauty and the manufacturing of beautiful objects, I don't think anyone, and I'm not including you in that group, by the way, I don't think anybody who works in the arts takes beauty at face value any more than we take the beautiful images of people in our magazines at face value anymore. We know that beauty is a result of photoshopping, whether that be technical or whether that be conceptual. There's a lot of conceptual photoshopping going on right now, and there always has been. But now we know it. Has. So that thing about beauty. So the role of the artist, and the role of the artist that is in all of us, isn't just about the creation of delusions and beautiful monstrosities. It's also about the revealing of ugliness and the stripping away of the facade of meaning, I would have said. Secondarily to that, I mean, and I guess kind of related to it, it's kind of evidence in some things you say. I mean, a lot of the language you use is very beautiful. You're a good writer and you present this stuff well, and you clearly identify with other fragments of language that people use, which is telling. There's a phrase that you use, bacteria with brains, which is one of Gary's slogans. But bacteria with brains is a piece of poetry, isn't it? I mean, bacteria. I'm just stating the obvious. Bacteria don't have brains, but we know that when we use a word like bacteria with brains, we're evoking all of the symbology and all of the associations that bacteria have for us. We associate bacteria with contamination and with even though most bacteria aren't harmful, nevertheless we associate them with disease and the kind of invisible, insentient nastinesses which kind of are inside us and outside of us at the same time. You know, bacteria carry all that. So when we call ourselves bacteria with brains, it isn't an uninflected comment, is it? It's a comment which is absolutely designed to have poetic resonance, and it works for that reason. So you know, there's art and poetry right there, but it's not an art and poetry to do with. Actually, it is to do with entertainment, I think, but it isn't to do with glossing a beautiful world. It's to do with glossing an ugly world, and these are all glosses. They're all interpretations. The reason why I say it is about entertainment, because I like the word entertainment, because it's so double-edged, isn't it? On the one hand, it is about the kind of cultivation of mob mentality and the turning of individual sovereign beings into a baying, applauding, foot-stomping gang of idiots. It is partly about that, for sure. But the other part of entertainment is about holding the etymological origins. And I know these are only partial, but can be revealing. The etymological origins of entertainment are to do with mutual holding. You know, when we as a crowd, and when you and I are kind of held together by the same thought, or by the same emotion, or by the same combination of emotion and calculation, that thing we call feeling and understanding and knowing, that complex, then we're in a moment of entertainment together. We are mutually entertained, mutually held by that idea, gripped by it, you might say. And so I think there is something about entertainment, and clearly you're in the entertainment industry, as are we all. In the, you know, you're crafting your videos and your sentences, as I am crafting mine, and as are we all, in order to allow someone to be held by them, and for them to hold us in turn, and share this moment of mutual entertainment. You know, without wanting to step over the line and madly popularise and lowest common denominator ourselves, I assume. Anyhow, you end with fuck love. Not sure what to do with that. I've got some sympathies with that, because there's a really lovely Slavoj Zizek piece of writing about that. He does a video on it, which is on YouTube, where he's talking about love being an ultimate act of discrimination, and how we should distrust love, and I can respect that. But fuck love is such a great sentence, and fuck nature. I've made a couple of videos which are either called fuck nature, or have that as a description, or fuck love. You know, because fucking is so much about the body and so much to do with our origins. You know, we as individuals and as species have been fucking since the first amoeba crawled out of the swamp. I know amoebas don't crawl out of the swamp, but you know what I mean. The history of life on Earth is a history of fucking in various forms. So I quite like that idea of fucking as marking the baseline of all of this activity. And then love, which of course is from the French l'œuf, meaning the egg, that which is which cocoons something inside it and protects and forms a barrier between inside and outside, and has dark hidden interiors in which strange divisions and strange multiplications are taking place, and out of which, in some way that's incomprehensible to those of us who just stand outside eggs and watch them hatch, in some way something eternal lies within, you know, that kind of strange eons thing. Anywho, so yeah, so fuck love captures those distinctions for me, or has some resonance across those polarities. Anyway, I enjoyed the video very much. Thanks very much. Zenful Masturbation. I kind of wish you talked a little bit more about masturbation in there. You talk about it as kind of mental masturbation, but I think there's a thread through some of your videos which has this kind of masturbatory tone, which I think could be really interesting. Anyway, thanks very much. Bye.